Hello everyone. We created LDAP profile and authentication profile in our previous lesson. In this lesson, we will make user ID enable settings. Now we come to user identification under Device tab. Here we will configure Palo Alto Network's user ID agent setup. Let's click on Edit here. In the Server Monitor Account section, we write our username in LDAP server. We write it as v/administrator. Here we write our password in LDAP server. Now let's come under the Server Monitor tab. Here we activate the Enable session. Going under Client Probing, select the Enable Probing option from here and click OK. Now we will come to the Server Monitor section and add the LDAP server IP address here. Let's name it Active Directory. Here we select Microsoft Active Directory and here we write the IP address of our LDAP server 172.16.0.110. Now let's come to Group Mapping and create a new group mapping by clicking Add. Let's name it Group Mapping. Let's choose our server profile from here. After selecting the LDAP profile, we need to go to the Group Include list and add the user groups here. When we create a rule under the Policy tab, we will be able to see the user groups we have added here in the Source Users section. Here I come under CN Users. When we come here, we can see the groups on the Active Directory side here. Here, let's add the Domain Users group by clicking the plus. Let's add the IT group, IT group and Sales groups that we created here. When we create a rule under Policy a little later, we will be able to select the groups we add here under the rule. I say OK. Now we need to go onto the Network tab and enable User ID in our Inside Zone. We choose our Inside Zone. There is Enable User Identification here. We enable it and we say OK. Now that we have enabled User Identification, we can now create user-based rules. Let's go under the Policy tab and prevent users in the IT group from going to the Internet. I say Add. I choose Interzone as the rule type. Here I come to the Source section, select our source zone and our address. Here, in the Source Users section, we will now be able to select our users. I say Add. There are Domain Admin, Domain Users Group, IT Group, IT Group and Sales Group that you see here. We choose the HR group here. In Destination Zone we choose Outside, we leave any as the destination address. Application any, the service can stay at default. We come to the action part, and we do this drop. Let's save our logs at the beginning of the session. Now we have created our rule to block HR users. There is no obstacle in our rule below. All our users can log out. We only block TIC users. Let's apply the changes we made to our firewall and go to a domain joined client and run our test. When we come to the client side, first of all, let's check the IP address of this client joining the domain. I open the command line and type ipconfig/all. The IP of our user here is 172.16.0.144, the gateway IP is 172.16.0.254, and the DNS is 172.16.0.110. This DNS address is important because the user here must join the domain and use the DNS server in the domain. Here you need to have your b.com domain name in the DNS suffix section. Let's close the window and open the web browser. Let's do our test. Let's go to any page. As you can see we have access now. Now let's go to the firewall side and check our logs. Let's look at the logs under the Monitor tab. Let's get traffic here. When we come to the traffic, you can see the Yahoo's bullet user from the domain in the Source User section. Here you can see that action is allow and the rule matches the LAN to WAN rule. In the LAN to WAN rule, we only blocked HR users. That's why this user can access the Internet. Now let's go to our client again. Log in with the IC user 1 user and try to connect to the Internet. Here I am changing the user by making switch user. Since I have previously logged in with the IC user 1 user, his name is registered here. I log in by typing my password. I logged in with the user IC user 1. Now let me try to open any page from the internet. When I try to open any page from here, we cannot connect at the moment. Let's go to our firewall again and check our logs. When we come to our firewall, you can see ICUser1 in the source user section. Here you can see that this package is drop and its rule name is ICUserBlock. This is how we create user-based rules. If we hadn't created a user-based rule, we could block the IP 172.16.0.144, but when we do, all users using this computer will be blocked from accessing the internet. We can control our users in the domain in this way, but how can we control the users who are not joined the domain? We can authenticate those users using the authentication portal. That's all for now in this lesson. See you in our next lesson. Bye.